the UAE government and the Gulf government of hoarding money. The West was condemning the Gulf countries because of what? The amount of physical cash that, as they say, hoarding. They say, for example, that UAE is the first country in the world where the government is controlling or owning the biggest amount of cash. They say the United Arab Emirates government is owning $550 billion. $550 billion. And out of that, they own physically, means cash, okay, almost 20% of this amount. So they are not happy that there is a physical cash with the, what? The Gulf country. And they said the same thing about Kuwait. Why? Because as some of the analysts say, the bank of Lehman Brothers, you know, the Lehman Brothers, which is the fourth biggest bank, and which is the biggest bank, the first biggest bank that announced bankruptcy in America. They said that the amount of real assets that this bank holds is less than 1/60 of the claimed price or claimed amount of money that this bank hold. Okay, so this is of course a very big amount. Okay, 1/60. What does it mean? Okay, it means that if this bank collapses, the price will go what? To 1/60 of the original price. And that's why you maybe have heard of many rich people. The richest person in America, in Britain, okay, they said that over a few days he lost what? Do you know? Do any of you know? 20 billion pound. Okay, how come someone loses 20 billion pound? Because this money is intangible money, is just digits, so you can build it as much as you can easily, and you can wipe it easily, okay, because it is not tangible money. From an Islamic perspective, Islam is against this creation of money. And if you read in Islamic finance, and you will see that it is a miracle that came from Allah Jalla wa Ala. Islamic finance is a miracle that came from Allah Jalla wa Ala. You will see that Sharia compliant transaction, real Sharia compliant transaction, is very keen to make this possession taking place, and will not allow any transaction where the real possession of the commodity is taking place, okay, in order to avoid this issue of money creation. Is that clear? Yeah? And this is one of the miracles. You will see many ahadith. For example, the Prophet ﷺ prohibited traders to sell food if they bought it until they transfer it to their ownership. Transfer it means what? Transfer it physically, and owning it physically. And the Prophet ﷺ also prohibited those who buy any amount of food to sell it before their container evaluated again, which means that a physical ownership is taking place. And the Sharia, of course, prohibited selling debts. Why? Because of this problem. So it is a miracle. And if you reflect upon the crisis that took place, the credit crunch, whether the credit crunch that took place in 1929, the Great Depression, and it also took place in October, you will see that the main reason behind that is dealing with riba and also avoiding this issue of real possession, real possession of commodities. Now, what happened is now people started to buy properties and they started to have big amount of loans, and insurance companies started to insure those debts, etc., etc. After some time, people realize that they are unable to pay off their debts. Okay? Because, see, they have to pay. Let us imagine a person who has two debts only, the first mortgage and the second loan. He has to pay what? The first mortgage, and then he has to pay off for the second amount of money that he borrowed. Is that true or not? And which is difficult for most of the people. And by the way, they say that 80 to 85% of the people who have debts, they were planning to pay off the debts on time. But they found themselves unable to pay off the debts on time, and now they are paying only the interest, and they are not paying what? The debt itself. They are just trying to catch up with the interest that has been built up on them. So after some time, people started to fail paying the debts. And the banks also lost the liquid money, because some people were taking money as cash. So the liquidity in the banks dropped dramatically. Now, after that, after some time, when the people are unable to pay the debts, there is no liquid money in the banks, and the banks started to apply restricted conditions for those who want to, for industry, okay, and for those projects that they are getting loans from the banks. Everybody started to panic now. Once everybody started to panic, the banks started to repossess the properties. But once they repossess the properties, who is going to buy them? The prices of the properties are very high, and most of the people think about the debts that they have incurred previously. So the prices of the properties went to go down, 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 until they said that the prices of properties went below the original prices. And then the crisis started to happen. Is this clear? Because if the price, let us imagine the price, that price that we mentioned, $300,000, yeah? If the price went down to $250,000, what does that mean? It means that even if the bank was able to sell that property for £250,000, still there is a loss of what? £50,000 or $50,000